Private Detective Deborah was doing some shopping at the mall. Suddenly, she heard people arguing. The woman went there and saw a stressed shop assistant and several people crowding him. The poor man had found a smartphone and made an announcement, and now several people claimed it was their phone. One man said the phone must have slipped from his bag. A young woman said the gadget belonged to her, and an older woman shouted it was her husband's device. That's when the phone rang. For some reason, the shop assistant handed it to Deborah. The woman glanced at the screen and immediately gave the phone to the man. How did she understand whose device it was? Deborah saw the word wife written on the screen. Emily has 2 glasses filled with water. In the first glass, the water is heated up to 100 degrees. In the second glass, the water is cooled down to minus 100 degrees. The girl drops 2 coins in the glasses at the same time. Which coin will reach the bottom faster? It'll be the coin in the glass with the warm water. The coin in the other glass won't sink at all. The water there is frozen. Jacob and his brother Jack were walking along the street. When they passed a grocery store, Jacob pointed at a young woman and exclaimed, "Oh, my niece is over there." His brother answered, "Oh, right, but it's not my niece." "How come?" The young woman is Jack's daughter. Ashley had a boyfriend, Mark, who was madly in love with her. Unfortunately, the woman didn't love him back. Once, she decided to leave him. Ashley knew Mark wouldn't let her go easily, so she ran away. But Mark was a very rich man and could find her almost anywhere. She had to be careful. 1 week later, Ashley was sitting in her hotel room when she heard a knock at the door. When the woman opened the door, she saw a man. She had never met him before. The stranger apologized. "Oops, I'm sorry, my bad. I was sure it was my room." He then turned around, went down the corridor, and disappeared in the elevator. Ashley rushed back into her room and started to pack her things. She instantly knew Mark had found her. How did she figure it out? No one will knock on their own hotel room door. It was Mark's man who was looking for her. The faster you run, the harder it is to catch this thing. What is it? It's your breath. David and his wife Jessica moved to another town. The place wasn't big. For the locals, new people coming to live there was a big deal. That's why, the next day, the couple's curious neighbors came to say hello. Karen introduced herself and said she was sure they'd become great friends. She had even cooked cupcakes for David and Jessica. Elderly Mrs. Latham told the newcomer she'd been living in the town for almost 80 years. Betty was extremely excited. "A man's come to live in our small town. And so good-looking at that. Awesome news." 2 of the neighbors seemed a bit creepy, and only one looked normal. Who was it? Karen had decorated her cupcakes with something that looked suspiciously like eyes. Betty is too enthusiastic about David. As for Mrs. Latham, she is sure to know lots of things about the town and its inhabitants. She can be a useful source of information, and she cooked them some soup. Brandon's wife told him to cook several eggs, but the man had to boil them for exactly 2 minutes. She left her husband 3 hourglass timers for 3, 4, and 5 minutes. How can the man boil the eggs for exactly 2 minutes? Brandon waited until the water started to boil. Then he turned over the 3 and 5 minute timers. When the 3-minute timer ran out, he dropped the eggs into the water. And when the 5-minute timer ran out, he had his perfectly boiled eggs. It was the first time Eric sailed his brand new yacht. But the man seemed to be out of luck that day. A bad storm sank the yacht, and Eric hardly had any time to make it to the surface. Half conscious, he ended up on some beach. In the morning, the man realized he was stranded on a tiny, uninhabited island. No radio, no cell phone, no means of communication whatsoever, and the island had no trees to make a smoke signal. On the third day, Eric noticed a small plane circling in the sky over the island. Were they searching for him? But the aircraft was flying too high, and the pilot couldn't see Eric. And still, the man did something, and soon he was picked up by a rescue helicopter. How did he attract the pilot's attention? Eric picked up some stones and used them to write SOS on the sand. Helen lives in Singapore with her husband Dennis. Once, she tells her husband she wants to visit her aunt who lives in Italy. Dennis doesn't mind, but he asks his wife to send him a photo as soon as she gets to Europe. When Helen lands in Rome, she sends Dennis a selfie. Under the picture, she writes, "Ciao from Italy, I've just arrived." After looking at the photo, Dennis realizes his wife lied to him. How did he know? In the picture, the clock on the wall shows exactly the same time as the clock in the kitchen, which is in Singapore. If Helen was in Rome, the clock would show a big time difference. One day, Christopher decided he had to develop his logical thinking skills. The guy found a tutor and started visiting him to have private lessons. But this teacher had one interesting habit. Closer to the end of each lesson, he always gave Christopher several riddles. The guy wasn't allowed to go home until he solved them. This Friday, the first riddle went like this. How can you make 6 into an odd number? Tricky. How? He removed the letter S and got IX. That's 9 in Roman numerals. But the guy knew it was just the beginning. The next riddle was even more difficult. It's thin, but when water splashes it, none seeps through. When hit, it changes color. It covers an incredibly complex thing, yet it's very easy to flex. What is it? At first, Christopher didn't have any idea. Duh, he'd have to stay and crack riddles till midnight. Luckily, in a moment, it dawned on him. It's the skin. Christopher's tutor was impressed with the guy's progress. "Okay," he said, "one more riddle and you can go home." 3 doctors said that Ryan was their brother, but Ryan claimed he didn't have any brothers. Who was lying? Christopher figured out right away that everyone was telling the truth. All the doctors were Ryan's sisters. Whew, he could finally go home. The morning after a heavy snowfall, Justin went outside and stopped in his tracks. He saw there was twice as much snow on top of his garage as there was on his neighbor's. Still, Justin didn't get surprised or upset. Why? Justin's garage is twice as big as his neighbor's. No wonder it also has twice as much snow. Amy went on holiday to the seaside and met 3 guys there. They were friends, but it didn't stop all of them from trying to impress the girl. In the evening, they all met in a restaurant to have dinner, and the guys started to tell Amy about their adventures. Sam boasted, "I'm a pilot, and I've already traveled all over the world." Larry said, "I once took part in an expedition to the North Pole. It was amazing. I saw penguins and polar bears." Jerry barged in, "And I'm an astronaut. When I was in space last time, I went on a spacewalk. I wanted to see our planet from above, but I was almost blown away by a strong wind." Who's lying to make a better impression? Both Larry and Jerry are lying. Penguins live near the South Pole, and there's no wind in outer space. It's an almost perfect vacuum. Andrew and Gary are twins. They were born just 1 minute apart, and Andrew is the elder of the two. But for some mysterious reason, they celebrate their birthdays 2 days apart once every several years. How is this possible? Andrew was born at 11:59 p.m. on February 28. It wasn't a leap year. So Gary, who appeared just 1 minute later, was already born on March 1st. That's why, during leap years, they have 2 days between their birthdays. A famous scientist went missing. The last time his colleagues saw him, he was in his laboratory. When the police arrived, they found a calendar lying on the man's table. There were several numbers written in pencil at the bottom: 6, 4, 9, 10, 11. The police officers had 5 suspects: David, Sarah, Jason, Betty, and Kevin. Who is behind the scientist's disappearance? It's Jason. The numbers stand for months, and the first letter of each month spells the name of the criminal. So the 6th month is June, and the first letter of June is J. The 4th month is April, and the first letter of April is A, and so on. Smarty pants. Here's an easy one to warm up. Can you find the one and only B among these 2s? Oh, it's right there. One of the many 7s here is a Z. Do you see it? Good job! There's one letter S hiding between all these 5s. Excellent, it's right here. How about this one? I won't tell you the odd one out letter this time. You have to find it yourself. Yay! It's a C. Here's a bunch of Q's. 3 of these letters aren't like the rest of them. Can you find them all? Done! There are 3 O's here, and I'm sure you managed to find them all. 3 of these letters don't belong here because they are nothing like the others. Do you see them? There are 3 W's. Can you find 3 8s here? Got them. I need a pen to keep track of my points. Can you help me find one here? Thanks so much for helping me out. I think I need a little snack, but I'm allergic to apples. Do you think you could help me find a pear here? Here it is. I'd like to top it with pineapple. Yum, so good and fresh. Quiz time. Do you know what a hexagon is? Yep, it's a plane figure with 6 straight sides and angles. And one of those is hiding right here. Found it! You deserve a little something for all of your efforts. Can you find it among these hearts? Yay! It's an apple for you! Moving up, here's a bunch of golden eggs, and one of them is somehow different from the rest. Do you see it? I'm impressed. How about a slice of pizza? It's yours if you can find the odd one out. Well done! I think these roosters can wake up an entire village. One of them stands out though. Can you see it? Yay! It's hiding right here. One of these apples is definitely more delicious than others. You'll see it yourself when you find it. Success! Time for a more substantial meal. Find the fried egg that's not like the others. They're all exactly the same. Just kidding. It's this one on the right. Here's a task for those who can read between the lines or through layers of color. Let's see if you're one of them. Ah, that was an easy one. It's the word fame. How about this one? Wow, I'm impressed. And it's also the correct answer. Next, please. I think it's the word list, and it's correct. Can you figure this one out? The answer here is ill. And here's the trickiest of them all. I believe you can make it. Did you see it was bog? Now let's go on a little safari. Can you spot the hedgehog? Here it is, hiding in the corner. One of these seals is in fact a kitten. Do you see it? Hello there, little one. Do you think a coyote is good company for kangaroos? I think it's safer to find it before they get in trouble. Good job! A little hamster ran away from home. It's hiding somewhere at the farmer's market. Help it find its way back. Thanks for saving it. You were trying to capture the landscape, but a seagull got in. Can you find it to crop it out of the image? Well, looks like it won't work out since it's almost in the middle. 3 images here are exactly the same, and one of them stands out. Can you name it? Knew it was this one. There's an extra wolf here. What about these giraffe portraits? Ouch! This one's missing its ears. Look at these beautiful wild cats. They sort of look the same to me, but one picture is different from others. It's this one. Here are some penguins in their natural habitat. Can you spot the odd one out? Only this picture here has an iceberg in it. Time to hit the beach. But first, find 5 differences between these 2 pictures. Blue instead of red here, white car, palm tree, a parasol, oh, and an extra roof here. While you're figuring out what game they're playing, find 5 differences between the images. Well done! Whoa, not so fast! Do you see how the picture on the right is different from the one on the left? Sure, you got them all! These houses look identical to me, but are they really? Nope, they are different in 5 details. Did you spot them all? The view from these balloons must be something. The pictures are different in 5 ways. Can you name them all? I didn't expect the yellow balloon to change its color. The way you see certain images can tell a lot about your personality. What does this one look like to you? If it looks like a lion to you, you're a well-balanced, positive, and cheerful person. You make friends easily, as you have an open mind and soul. You love sharing jokes and make everyone feel comfortable around you. You never give up and believe everything happens for the best. If you see a hand in this image, looks like you're an artist at heart, or maybe that's your real job. You have your own vision of the world, and you can always find the most creative solution to any problem. You don't mix with new people easily and only have a couple of real friends, but they're for life. What do you think about this one? If it's an apple to you, you take things for what they are and are pretty happy with what you have in life. You know you can always rely on your close people, and they'll support you no matter what. You're always in a good mood, and you pass it on to others. If you saw 2 profiles here first, relationships are your big priority in life. You might be going through a time of uncertainty with someone special to you. Remember, the best you can do is discuss it together and not hold it all in your heart. Things will surely get better. This one seems pretty obvious, but there must be a double meaning. If you see the jungle here, you're a natural explorer. Boredom is what you fear the most. You always want to try new things and go to new places. When someone offers to join them on an adventure, you never ask for details and just say yes. If you saw the face first, your home means the world to you. You feel most comfortable inside your own little fortress. You enjoy decorating it to make it even cozier. If you have to choose between a night out and staying at home, it'll always be your own home and the people that make it so dear to you. Now take a look at the next image. What comes to your mind first? If it's a crown, you like to be the center of attention. You feel great giving speeches and performing on stage. You love to see the impression you leave on others, and you need that energy to be happy. Keep getting better at what you do, and the stage will always be yours. If you noticed a nice lady with her eyes closed first, you aren't too shy, but you feel more comfortable out of the spotlight. You sometimes think others are more talented or have more important things to say than you do, so you make way for them. Remember, you also deserve attention. Moving on, how about this image? If you see a face here, you always see the big picture and can get a grip on any situation quickly. You analyze things in your mind and make the right conclusions. If it's a picture of the city with a lonely girl in the distance to you, you have a talent for seeing the details. You know the little things matter, and you have great taste and make this world a more beautiful place.